Welcome back to JNR Story, where every mistake I made with money became a lesson worth sharing. Tonight I want to take you back to a Tuesday evening I still remember more clearly than I'd like to admit. I was 24. I was sitting at my kitchen table with a stack of mail I'd been avoiding for almost 3 weeks, and when I finally opened everything and added it up, I owed $4,200 on 2 credit cards. Not because of some emergency, just because of 100 small yeses I'd said to myself over 2 years without ever once adding them up. I tell you that number because I think a lot of you are sitting somewhere close to that same feeling right now. Maybe not that exact amount. Maybe it's rent that's due before payday lands. Maybe it's a number on an app you've stopped opening. If this sounds like you, you're not alone. I've been there, at that table, with that mail, feeling like money was something that happened to me instead of something I had any say in. What changed things wasn't a course or a certification. Nobody taught me this. I had to learn it the hard way, mostly through 7 habits I picked up slowly, clumsily, usually after getting something wrong first. I'm going to walk you through all 7 tonight, the way I actually learned them, not the tidy version. The first habit was writing down every single dollar I spent for 1 month, with no judgment attached. Not a budget yet, just observation. I bought a $5 notebook and started logging everything, down to a $2.75 coffee. By the end of that month, I'd spent $190 on food delivery alone, and I hadn't even noticed it happening. The upside is that this habit costs nothing and takes maybe 2 minutes a day. The honest downside is that it's uncomfortable. Seeing the real numbers stung more than I expected, but you can't fix what you refuse to look at. The second habit was separating what I call protecting money from growing money. For years, I only thought in one direction, which was trying to make more, invest better, find some clever move. But I had no safety net at all, so every small emergency became a crisis and a new credit card charge. So the second habit was building a tiny cushion first, even before anything ambitious. Mine started at $300, sitting untouched in a separate account. It wasn't exciting. It didn't feel like progress. But the first time my car needed a $200 repair and I didn't panic, I understood why that order matters. Protect first, then grow. That's the part nobody tells beginners because it's not glamorous enough for most videos. The third habit was starting to save something, however small, on a fixed schedule instead of waiting for a month when I felt flush. I began with $12 a week. $12. That's less than most people spend on one lunch out. I automated it so it moved the same day my paycheck landed before I could talk myself out of it. A year later, that habit alone had quietly become over $600 I hadn't consciously saved. Small steps, repeated, beat big plans that never start. The downside is honesty again. $12 won't change your life by itself in month 1. It changes things by month 18, and only if you don't quit in month 3 when it feels pointless. The fourth habit was learning to name my debt instead of avoiding the number. I made myself write the full $4,200 on a sticky note and put it on my mirror. That sounds small, almost silly, but avoiding a number gives it power over you. Once I named it, I could make a plan against it, paying an extra $40 a month toward the higher interest card while making minimums on the other. The pro is that it turns something abstract and shameful into something mechanical and solvable. The honest con is that it's slow, and there were months I barely felt like I was moving. The fifth habit was learning to separate a real emergency from an urge. For a long time, wanting something new felt identical in my body to actually needing something. A worn pair of shoes and a whim to buy new headphones produced the exact same itch, so I started using a rule. If it was over $50 and wasn't a true need, I waited 3 days before buying it. Most of the time, by day 3, I didn't even want it anymore. This isn't financial advice. It's just what I wish someone had told me back then, because nobody ever explained that impulse fades on its own if you just give it a little room. The sixth habit was reading, slowly, about how ordinary saving and investing actually work, instead of chasing whatever trend I'd seen that week. I want to be honest here. There is real risk in investing. Markets go down as well as up, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you something. I started small, with an amount I could genuinely afford to see drop in value without losing sleep, and I kept adding to it steadily instead of trying to guess the perfect moment. The upside of that patience is that it removed the pressure of timing anything perfectly. The downside is that it's boring, and boring doesn't get clicks, but boring is usually what actually works. The seventh habit, and maybe the one that took me longest, was forgiving myself for the years I got it wrong. For a long time, I treated my past mistakes as proof that I was bad with money, permanently. But looking back now, years later, I can see those mistakes were just the tuition I paid to learn something nobody had ever sat me down and explained. That reframing changed how I approached every habit above it. Shame kept me stuck. Honesty about the past is what finally let me move. So here's what I think, and I want to be clear, this is just my opinion, shaped by my own story, not a rule for everyone. I think most beginners overestimate how much the specific method matters and underestimate how much starting today matters. You don't need the perfect budgeting app or the ideal investment account structure in month 1. You need $12 moving automatically. You need one honest month of tracking. You need a sticky note with a real number on it instead of a mail pile you're avoiding. The strategies get more sophisticated later. The starting point almost never does. If I had to boil all 7 of these down, it would come to this. Watch where the money actually goes. Protect a little before you try to grow a lot. Automate the small steps so willpower isn't doing all the work. Name your numbers instead of hiding from them. Give impulses a few days to pass. Invest patiently rather than perfectly, and be gentle with the version of yourself who didn't know any of this yet. So here's what I'd ask you to actually do, not just nod along to. Take 5 minutes today, just 5, and either open that notebook and write down what you spent yesterday, or open your banking app and set up one small automatic transfer, even if it's only $10. That's it. That's the whole assignment. Not a full financial plan. One small honest action today while it's fresh in your mind. Looking back at that Tuesday at the kitchen table, $4,200 felt like a mountain I'd never get over. It wasn't quick and it wasn't glamorous, but habit by habit, $12 at a time, it became a hill, and then it became a memory, and now it's just a story I get to tell you. That's the lesson I carried with me from that year, that the size of the first step matters so much less than whether you actually take it. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until the next story.